Yes, guys, I've seen the movie. I saw it last night, midnight release, and now I'm going to give you my Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice movie review. Now to get into the review, just because I don't want this movie to be so long. I've waited for this movie for 2.5 years, and it's really, my expectations were super high. And the thing is, I learned this from Avengers: Age of Ultron, is that if I put my expectations unexpectedly high, I will ultimately be disappointed no matter how good the movie is. And that's the thing. Before I watched the movie, I watched some interviews I watched some reviews of people who didn't like the movie. And that really brought my expectations low, to know that there are flaws in the movie. I don't expect a perfect movie. And the thing is about the movie is that it's been getting a lot of criticism. It's been getting a lot of hate. And mostly the people who hate this movie haven't seen the movie yet. Now, this is Friday, March 25th. Today it is released all around the world. So this is my spoiler-free review. So don't be afraid of spoilers, because I'm just gonna give you what I thought about the movie. Now, before I get into details, I forget to do these in my movie reviews, but I loved this movie. This movie was one of the best experiences I've had in the movie theater of all time. I saw this movie in IMAX 3D, and it was visually stunning. The screen was amazing. The sound literally made my heart jump out my ears. It was so... The sound made you feel like you were in the movie. There was amazing visuals. The casting was great. The acting was amazing. Zack Snyder had what I call director balls, and he really just went in. And I loved the writing by Chris Terrio and David S. Goyer. I loved it. It was visually amazing, and I really enjoyed the movie. I highly recommend that you see it as soon as possible, as many times as you can. Because I'm not speaking out of hype too. Because last night I was speaking out of hype. My family keeps asking me, because I'm Miles Morales, they're like, "What do you think of the movie?" And I gave my review out of hype. And I wanted to do this today because, you know, people are seeing the movie today and they want to see a review before they see the movie. And I was just thinking, okay, I can't give my review out of hype because that means that, you know, you not get as much a professional review. But I'm giving you guys my professional review, so don't be afraid of this. Oh, he just saw the movie, so of course he's gonna love it. No, this movie has flaws. It's not a perfect movie, as is any movie. But I really enjoyed this movie, and I'm going to dive into details. And plus, if you see the movie in IMAX 3D, you get this amazing poster. So, since I asked you guys a couple videos ago if I'm gonna redo my wall, this is definitely gonna be up there. So anyway, time to get into reviews. Shoot. Okay, so first of all, I want to get on the casting, because that was one of the big problems that the movie had before it was released, because it had a lot of controversial casting choices. Now, everybody's wondering, Ben Affleck is Batman. How was he? He was flippin' amazing. He did such a great job. I was telling my dad, because my dad has loved Batman his entire life, and I was telling you, he is going to be your favorite Batman, because Ben Affleck was the perfect Bruce Wayne. He was the Bruce Wayne that, you know, he was stylish, you know, he had money, he was with women, you know, and then he was also the Bruce Wayne that parents died, and had that grit and had that anger in him. And I loved how when, you know, he's in front of people, he turns on that personality, but once he's not talking to anyone, he turns it off and he's back to the real Bruce Wayne. And I love how he portrays the mask and whatnot. And as of him being Batman, he was the greatest Batman. Him and Zack Snyder perfectly worked together to create the greatest Batman we've ever seen on a movie screen, or any screen ever. Despite the animated series, because that's also the second greatest, or it's one of the greatest Batman ever. This Batman was brutal. He was unnecessarily more violent. He killed people. That's not a spoiler, because you see it in the trailer. He's not like a killer, but he's killed people. And it's really crazy that I had to say that, because it's in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. Don't be like, oh, he spoiled me. It's in the trailer. Also, just his gadgets, the way he moved around, the way he took down criminals, it was just an amazing, just watching him do him. and it was an amazing. And I went into the movie Team Superman, so really seeing Batman go off like that was just an amazing feature for me. And I don't know if you could see in the frame, but I got my Superman Jamies on, you know, just some light. Anyway, yeah, moving on. Alright, visuals. This movie was visually stunning. I'm not even talking about the big fight scenes where Batman and Superman are fighting, or, you know, there's just action. I'm talking about just the regular visuals when you see Batman, you know, mourning over his parents, when you see Superman just flying over Congress. It's just the way they shot this movie was so amazing. And also, I'm gonna just say one of the visually best parts of the movie is how the movie opens up, the opening sequence. And I just really love how they use focus to portray fear. And that's what this movie does. It uses focus to portray fear, and I love it. And it uses focus to portray all these other different emotions, and I loved it. It was just me as a director, because I'm also a director too. Just seeing the camera movement and the way it singles out the subject was just too good for me not to say anything. And I just walked out the movie becoming a better director by seeing these shots and angles and being like, oh yeah, definitely gonna use that in my feature. You know what I'm saying? So I really loved it, and just looking at the movie was amazing. IMAX 3D even helped it a lot more. So I really highly recommend you see this in IMAX 3D, because that is the only way to get the full experience. This Batman v Superman, it's an experience, okay? It's not a movie, it's an experience. And the way to fully 100% get that is to see it in IMAX 3D. And that's exactly what I did. I'm actually one of the few people that bought their, well, not few people, there's a lot of people who bought their ticket when it went on sale on February 29th. So I've had this ticket for the longest. I've had it for almost a month now. And it was super crazy just finally walking out the theater feeling like I did it. I felt amazing. That it was such a great movie. Moving on. I should really stop singing. Okay, sound/score. The sound of this movie was amazing. The way you hear gunshots or Superman's lasers. I think this really should be considered to be nominated for an Oscar for Best Sound Mixing, because just the way the sound made you feel like you were in the movie. And one of my favorite sounds is when Superman's flying and you hear sonic booms. Like when the movie gives those sonic booms, or when Superman takes off. It's like every time there's a big sound, your heart jumps, and it's really, that's what makes it an experience. And movies really is because just all the sound. Like me talking right now and me just, you know, doing all this and doing that, being Miles Morales. The only sound you really hear is the background music and my voice. But in the movie, you get to hear punches and kicks and splashes and fires and everything. Just the sound was amazing. It was just too good not to mention. And also the soundtrack, or the score. Now Junkie XL and Hans Zimmer got together to do the score for this movie, and I am saying there was no other people better for this score than them two. When when those two get together, you know you are getting a treat. And with people like, you know, all the other people who have done Batman movies and Superman movies, these two were made for this movie. Now, at first, you know, Hans Zimmer, he's getting older, and, you know, especially what he did with Amazing Spider-Man 2, he had 6 other people come in with him. But this time, he just had Junkie XL, and I loved the themes. Batman's theme, by far my favorite, one of my most favorite things that came out this movie. Just the dun, 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 dun. Let me play it for y'all, just so y'all know what I'm talking about, you hear me? Come on now, I'm about to play it at full volume. Alright, now, check this out. That's just totally amazing, and I really enjoy seeing just how, whenever you heard that, you knew, you felt fear. You felt like a criminal and Batman was coming for you. That's when you heard that, you knew Batman was about to go off. And I loved every single second hearing it. And it was just an amazing soundtrack overall. I pre-ordered it and I got it on March 18th. and I've been listening to it ever since, and it's one of my favorite scores of all time. So moving on, because they did such a great job. What am I talking about now? Okay, flaws. This movie, like I said in my intro, is not a perfect movie. I'm gonna get on my 2 flaws really quick because they're really minor, but they do contribute to the film more. Lois Lane, what was she doing? What was she doing? Please answer me that. I was sitting there in the theater and I was watching her just go through everything, and I was like, how are you still alive? Because she keeps getting in these fights and actions, and you saw her at the end of Man of Steel, and you just see her in this movie and you're just like, what are you doing still alive? Now, I'm not saying she's still alive at the end of this movie, so don't think that I'm spoiling anything for you, but I'm just saying that it's unrealistic. She's in the midst of Superman. She keeps getting into trouble being a journalist. And I'm just wondering, you're still alive, how? The only reason she's still alive is because she's dating the Man of Steel. That's it. There's nothing more to her character. To me, she didn't forward the plot. And I just really found her annoying how she just distracted Superman from being dope and being himself. And one of the things that she was good for was humanizing Superman, because the first half of this movie makes Superman look like a god. He makes him look all powerful, and you know there's all that and this and that. And but Lois Lane and Diana Lane as Martha Kent, those two really humanized Superman, which was really amazing. Because guess what? Okay, I'm Team Superman, right? Why did I spend the first half of the movie fearing Superman? Every time I saw his face, I was scared for my life. And why? Because I saw the world through Batman's view and the world's view. People are scared that this all-powerful being is going to one day turn the red leaf and become a bad guy. And every time I saw him, I was like, that could happen. So I was sitting in fear of Superman, just like, wow, please do not laser my head off. And I loved how the movie made me feel like that. It made me feel like a good guy could turn bad. And I love that. I super love that. Super love that. Super love that. Anyway, that was just dumb. One of the things before I forget, Jesse Eisenberg is Lex Luthor, because I reminded me when he said all powerful like an all god, I thought of Jesse Eisenberg talking about Lex Luthor, or Jesse talking about Superman. And what I thought is, let me show you guys my interpretation of Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. Bruce Wayne meets Clark Kent. I love this. I love bringing people together. Hi, Howie, Lex. Oh wow, that is a good grip. You should not pick a fight with this person. At first, when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, that's our Lex Luthor? The movie did such an amazing job to showing me that Lex puts on, like Batman, a front and a mask. And if you take that off, you see this manipulative, psychotic, crazy man that is really just afraid of Superman. He hates Superman, learned everything about him, hates Batman, and competitive with Bruce Wayne, learned everything about him. He is a manipulative. That is the one word I call this Lex Luthor, manipulative. Because if you see the movie, you see that he's the one pulling all the strings behind the scenes. And I love this version of Lex. This version of Lex Luthor is not our businessman, our casual like we've seen in like Smallville and the animated series. This is the one that's more psychotic. Now expect that, and if you don't like Jesse Eisenberg from the trailers, then you won't like him in this movie because he's constant in his act. So there's that, and I love this Lex Luthor. Like, I went in the movie with my hair pulled back, but after the movie I just let it flow. I had my Lex Luthor hair out, and I loved his look, I loved his personality, and I really thought that this performance was great.